live because I will not be monitoring comments over here, even if you're watching here live. Hi, you beautiful people. It's Bonnie Gillespie. We are here together for another day of, wait for it, SMF May! It's Self-Management for Actors, SMFA, in the month of May, SMF May. And of course, if you hit the link in my bio or this one right here on the screen, bonniegillespie.com/20, that will take you to your dashboard for all things related to the 20-year celebration that we are engaged in all month long. Today is the 23rd of May, which puts us almost at the end of our run. This is broadcast number 16. I had to check. I actually had to go to my notes. This is broadcast number 16 of 20. We are celebrating 20 years of advice for actors and other storytelling creatives in showbiz from yours truly, Bonnie Gillespie. And let me know where you're watching. If you could drop something in the comments so that I know that you're here. Facebook is up and running. Thank you, Melissa. It's so good to see you. I think you win the I'm Here Every Live Episode award. I'm almost positive. Hi, Amy. Good to see you. You also are showing up. I love it. Oh my God. It makes me so happy to see you beautiful people reporting in. I think we're also streaming to YouTube and Periscope, which pushes over to Twitter. And of course, behind the scenes at Instagram. And all of this will be available on the playlist for you, which is linked at bonniegillespie.com/20. Good to see you beautiful people. How's everything going? We're on the road to the true north. We're making headway. We're using all the tools. Oh my God, David Piggott is my favorite David Piggott, and he's here. Good to see you, sweetheart. All right, so celebrating all the beautiful people joining in for the live training as we head toward the end of the month. YouTube is reporting in. Good to see you. Thank you so much for doing so. Good to see you. Periscope, wonderful. I'm so glad, Alex, that you were able to join us live through all the places. Hooray! Today's topic is self-taping. Now, this is something that is a little controversial in my history, and I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory about it just to kind of show you where things have gone in the 20 years that I've been doing this. Not 20 years ago, but a while ago. Let me see if I can actually remember how long ago this would have been. I'm going to say 13 years ago, 14 years ago, 2005, 2006. Yeah. I wrote an article for Actors Access, and I titled the piece Pre-Reads. And I'm going to say this was, 2006 is probably around the right time. I wrote this article called Pre-Reads, and I described this process of actors on their own taking sides and shooting auditions that were not asked for. And I described this process of actors pulling down proactively the sides for the projects that are on that road to your true north. If you're like, true north, don't know what that is, please go back to day one in the replays at the playlist and watch it so that you're all clear on what your true north is. And we have a celebrity in the house, my beloved Tracy Twinkie Bird. Oh, my pole baby, I love you so much. And my casting sister, so good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Everybody make sure you're following Twinkie everywhere on all of the social media because she is regularly holding classes for everyone for free, just like this. So make sure you are following her. She is a goddess of all things casting and a lot of other things too. So as you are headed toward this true north, and on this road, there are all these stops. There are all these places that you can travel along the way. There are certain writers. There are certain showrunners. There are certain directors that you know are going to be a part of your path to that true north. And so it stands to reason that you would pull down the sides of projects that they're working on now, even if you don't have a shot at auditioning, to practice letting their words come out of your mouth. So you can practice the rhythm of the material that you know is a part of your future on this journey up to your true north storytelling dream come true. What I suggested in this article years ago was you self-tape these things. And perhaps if you've built relationships with the casting directors, if you have gotten on the radar of the directors themselves, if these people that you're building relationships with have projects going on, and you are self-taping auditions, getting those in front of these buyers, not because you're like, I'm trying to cut in the line, I'm trying to get ahead, I don't have an agent or manager and I want you to see me, but because you want to be on the radar as someone who is doing the work that, of course, is making up this whole path of yours up to that true north that you are put on this earth to tell that story. There's no downside to letting these buyers know that this piece of your work exists. You do it because it's a good workout for you. You do it because it's incredibly informing about how the sides are written. The time to learn what different markups all over a piece of audition material mean is not the day you have the audition. That is not the time to learn what is all this. I don't understand these markings on the sides. The time to learn that a target casting director regularly cobbles together sections from all different places in the script and turns them into one long set of sides, and that's what you have to read, and it actually doesn't flow like a real scene because it's not a real scene. The time to learn that is not the day that you have that high stakes audition and you're already a nervous wreck because you finally got called into the office of your dreams. That is not the day to start learning what these things are like. You should be self-taping your auditions of your target material for your target buyers every day because it's a workout. And then as you've built relationships with these people, you can say, hey, I shot myself doing the scene that I saw that you have up on Showfax, or the sides that you've got out on your website. Want to see? Like, here's a link to the private Vimeo or the private YouTube video. Like, it's not something you're putting out there in the middle of the world, like with their work product that's private. You know, you're respectful of the fact that this is audition material. It's not for public consumption. You're not like turning it into your own film, although we can get to that. You are just working out, and if your workout looks good, you float it in front of your agent and manager, you float it in front of the casting director, you float it in front of the director and say, you know, if you want to see it, that'd be great. So in this piece that I wrote a decade and a half ago, I suggested this and got the biggest hate mail of my entire career, still to this day. Still to this day, the biggest hate mail I have ever gotten came from suggesting that casting directors are open to this thing called pre-reads. That there is this thing that's actually happening before the auditions that could be to your advantage. I got so much hate mail on this, and the most scathing piece of hate mail from someone saying, you lazy casting director, putting the job on the actor to shoot their own audition. You're trying to turn us into people who know how to run a camera and know how to handle sound and know how to handle lights and know how to handle the technology and know how to get all this in front of the buyers. And you're a lazy casting director. Hold auditions. That's the way it's done. And I'm like, well, Grandpa, tell that story again. Because things are changing. And I did not create the idea that someone should do this. I simply tracked the patterns in all my conversations with all the casting directors and agents and managers and producers and directors and showrunners and publicists and actors that I know, which is a lot of them, to see things are shifting. Technology is getting more affordable. There's this new site called YouTube where people are putting up links to auditions and sending those links around. That's how I found out about it. I put out an audition. I put out a breakdown through Actors Access, as all my castings at that time especially were going out through Actors Access, because I want actors to be able to submit directly, because I work on a lot of low budget projects with people who are at the beginning of their game. So it's really valuable for me to be able to see people on self-submit level. Put it out on Actors Access, put out the entire script on Screenplay Online, and put out the sides on Showfax and Sides Express. And so everything was where everybody could find it. Also put a copy of the PDF of the script at my own website so people could download it for free, because I'm all about get that information out there far and wide and free. Always have been. It's part of just how I roll. And I had an actor in Philly who I'm still in touch with to this day. He actually just came around on one of these replays at Facebook over the past couple of days and commented, so I know he's still in the ninja sphere. He sent a link from Philly to me of a YouTube audition he had put up for the project I was casting here in LA. And I had never heard of YouTube. I followed the link. I thought I was going to his website, and I was like, oh, this is a cool website. Look at all the things that this does. And this is like 2006 when YouTube was born, right? And I was just blown away at the potential. And here is this actor harnessing that opportunity and putting himself on tape in Philly and getting me the link so I could take a look at it and see would he be the right fit for this role. Now, of course, we're not going to, for a low budget project, fly an actor into LA from Philly, probably not likely, but I loved what it taught me about the potential for self-taping. And so when I wrote about it, it was really early on in the process. And it was something that, back when I interviewed casting directors for Backstage, one of my questions was, do you think the internet will have an impact on how you do your job in casting? And overwhelmingly, casting directors said, absolutely not. The internet will have no impact on how I do casting at all. Casting will always be in person. Casting will always involve chemistry checks. Casting will always be done in the room. It's a relationship business. It's a 2-martini lunch relationship business. The internet will never impact how we do casting. And I, of course, being a good journalist, had a suspicion that they may be wrong. So I started interviewing their assistants and their associates and the casting directors on the come up. And when I started talking with people who were younger and newer at this and who were plugged in with technology in a way that was different from the people who are the legends of casting and the people who created casting as a profession decades ago, that I was actually hearing something closer to the truth, which is, I think the internet's going to have great impact on how we do casting. I see a future in which we're holding auditions virtually. I see a future in which actors are doing the first round of auditions on their own in their own self-tape studio, and then getting us that footage so we don't actually have to bring anybody in until we're at callbacks. Now, at first, a lot of the pushback on this when I wrote the article came from actors who said, if I can't get in the room, I've got no shot at showing you I'm right for the job. To which I respond, your ability to get seen on a link is actually a lot better than your ability to get seen in the room. We can see massively greater quantities of actors if we're just clicking links. We only have a certain number of slots to bring people physically into the room, but we can watch a whole bunch of auditions that were self-taped. And so when you're like, yeah, but the magic happens in the room, I will encourage you to consider that we give gold and shiny things to people for doing magic not in a room with us. Okay, so the fact that you can win trophies for the magic you create, not in the same room with everyone who watched your performance except for the couple dozen people right around you during the shoot, tells me you can create magic without being in the room with somebody. You just have to get really good at it. You have to get very practiced at it. So this is why I'm going to encourage you today to set up your self-tape situation. If you do not currently have a self-tape situation, fix it. Fix it. Fix it right now. Here's how. You have one of these? Do you have something approximately like one of these? You're watching me, so I guess the answer is yes. Unless you have a flip phone, Sidekick, or BlackBerry, you have a camera in here, right here, that is better than what you would have spent $5,000 on 5 years ago. So you have no excuse. You don't need to just run around taking pictures of your food and your junk. You need to take video of yourself working out with the material that you know you were born to do. You should be working out self-tape daily. Your setup does not have to be sophisticated. Your light does not have to be magical. Your sound needs to be dealt with because the human brain is engineered to have sound annoy us more if it's off. And so I would recommend that you check to be sure that you sound good. And so, yes, if you can be in an environment where there's not a lot of other sound competing with you, that's going to benefit you. But here's what I know. I cast an actor off a self-tape in 2007 for a feature film. This is the one I've talked to y'all about before, Another Harvest Moon. This starred Ernest Borgnine, Doris Roberts, Piper Laurie, Ann Mira, Amber Benson, Richard Schiff, Sybil Shepherd. This was a $650,000 budget film, and I got Oscar, Emmy, Golden Globe, Tony winners all covered on this project for a micro budget. We needed someone to play Ernest Borgnine's grandson. So I put out the breakdown, and we were going to be shooting, and they ended up shooting in Pennsylvania. So I specifically put in the breakdown if we've got some local hires. They didn't have a casting director in Philly, or they weren't in Philly. They were casting outside of Pittsburgh, actually. It doesn't matter. They were shooting in Pennsylvania. Doesn't matter. Point is, I wasn't there, and they didn't hire somebody to do any casting there. So I had to do the casting, and I needed people who could be local to the market or who were so good that we were going to put them into the budget category of all the LA people that we were flying out, which is, we already had quite a lot going on with that financially. So I put out the breakdown for what we were looking for and said, here's the script. Here's an address to get me your self-tape. I actually had people sending me in links to my email address because this was pre-EcoCast. There was no mechanism for people to upload footage within the Actors Access system like there is today. And I watched, wait for it, 35 self-tapes. That's it. That's all that were submitted. Now, granted, I'm talking 2007, so a lot has happened since 2007 in the world of being ready to self-tape. But one of the major advantages to self-taping when you are asked to self-tape or given the opportunity to self-tape is that not a lot of people are doing it. Even to this day, not a lot of people are going to show up for the self-tape because they're lazy. They don't have the setup. They don't think this is good enough. They're not quite sure that they've got the lighting correct. They're not quite sure that they've got the sound figured out. They don't have a backdrop, and someone told them you can't do a self-tape if you don't have a sexy backdrop. Someone told them they have to go spend money to shoot at a studio, which is a lie. All that nonsense. The kid who ended up booking the role, Cameron Monaghan, who's now famous, so yay me for having spotted that. No, I wasn't the only one. He was a working actor already when he did the self-tapes, but he was a young, up-and-coming actor who's just really on the ball, self-taped with a flip phone. So I want you to think of the janky-ass camera in a 2007 era phone, because this wasn't even iPhone. He self-taped off that. It was grainy. The file was small. He was outside. The environment was a mess. And his acting was flawless. And that's why I can tell you, if your acting is flawless, we're going to ignore that you didn't meet all the high standards of how great tech could have been, or how great your backdrop could have been, or how great your sound could have been, or how great your lighting could have been. We are not scoring you on all those other things if your acting is exactly what we need. 5 actors out of the 35 who did this, or 37 self-tapes that came in, of that, 5 of those actors got to do a Skype one-on-one with the director where he could then redirect and actually have some chemistry check, again, virtually, for this role. So you're going to be playing the grandson to an Oscar-winning legend of an actor in what will be one of his last films of his life. And sure enough, this back and forth with these 5 people, Greg, the director, was just like, they were all fantastic. And we could see all of that from their self-tape. But how disappointing that only a few dozen people, 3 dozen people, took advantage of this opportunity. Not even. Like, the fact that few people even suited up to do it was a little shocking. but the numbers still pan out like that. Not quite to that extent, but still, if I ask for self-tape, I'm going to have to ask for way more people to do it than I actually want to watch, because so few people will actually go to the trouble. And it's because you're taught, oh, I have to have the perfect conditions. Listen, if your acting sucks, I will also tell you need a better backdrop and your sound was bad and your lighting was off and there's all these other technical things that you can get better about. But if your acting is exactly what I need, I'm not worried about any of the other stuff, and nobody else is either. So don't let them lie to you like that. That's a stopper. It's a stopper. I can't cast you because, oh my God, your self-tape is a mess. That's an easy no. So just please get in the habit of doing it, build the muscle for it, and here's how. Totally free. We have a Facebook group. It is called the 30-Day Self-Tape Challenge. I wrote an article years ago about the power of 30-day challenges and 100-day challenges. In fact, the 100-day challenge that we are doing a live round of, getting gear for the next tier, starting up here at the end of the month. If you don't know what I'm talking about, okay, here's your URL. Let me pop it up here, right there. tinyurl.com/next tier is the easy way to get there if you're seeing this on the screen and want to type that in. But you can also just go to my website, bonniegillespie.com, and hit the button that says Getting Gear. Got all the information on how you can join us for the live round. We are doing SMFA Summer School, 100-day challenge, love them. 30-day challenge, love them. Any number of day challenge, love them. Thank you for dropping the link in the comments over here at Facebook. My amazing team on it. Love it. Thank you so much. I love the idea of using time-controlled challenges to create change in life. I did it with Whole30. Like, you can change your life by giving yourself a certain number of days where I am going to do this workout every day. And if you think your self-tape game could be better, I encourage you to join us in the free SMFA Self-Tape Challenge Facebook group today. Because 30 days from now, you are going to be so much better at self-tape. We talk about the tech, we talk about the setup, we watch your footage and give you feedback, and you give feedback to other people, which actually is awesomely one of the most important parts of the challenge. Your ability to see what's working and not working in somebody else's footage, that muscle you're building helps you get better perspective on what's working and what's not working in your own footage when you shoot it. And you got to get dispassionate about this, because when you're too precious about your self-taped audition, it just tells me you don't do it enough. Because if you're doing it all the time, you do not feel precious about it. Catherine is reporting in from YouTube. Good to see you, sweetheart. Do it. Changed/upped my self-tape game for life. And my team is dropping the link to the free Facebook group in the comments at Facebook. So make sure you head over there. Let's see. Melissa says, I did my scholarship submission in my car at work on my lunch break. Yes, you did, because you get that job done. Good job, Melissa. Way to do it. Way to do it. Twinkie is letting us know Amazon has an awesome, inexpensive mic situation for smartphones. Yes, and in the Self-Tape Challenge group, we talk specifically about technology and what is currently on sale, what's sounding the best, and obviously tech is a moving target, so this information is always changing and updating. It's part of the reason that we have an SMFA hot sheet over at the dojo. This is the instructional hub for all things Bonnie Gillespie and self-management for actors, and I share with you a tech list of equipment that is good for you to try, and that gets updated regularly because tech is constantly evolving and improving. Vanita says, holy moly, if only those were the odds in Atlanta. Yeah, you know, that's the thing, is that as people get more okay with self-taping, there is more competition for it. But I'm telling you, Vanita and everyone, there are still fewer people self-taping than you think. When we request a self-tape, we're not getting everyone we ask to do it. It's not like if I hold auditions and book 100 actors to show up for pre-reads, I will probably have a couple of no-shows out of 100. I mean, that's stats. I will probably have a couple no-shows out of 100. If I ask 100 people to self-tape, I'm probably only going to get 65 or 70. So the odds are still better. Like you're going to get, and why would you not get seen? Because of course I'm going to click on the link. Even if I've already cast that role, I'm still going to click the link to look at your self-taped audition because I am a buyer. I need actors. I need to know what you're good at. So I'm going to, old reference, drop a needle on the record. I am going to drop in and take a look at what you've done, even if I've already cast that role, because it tells me something about who you are and how you are as a storyteller. And I need to know that about you. I put that in my show Bible. That becomes a part of my point of reference of understanding you and who you are in my world. And I need to know actors in my world. That's part of my job. Yeah, Twinkie's got it. People are still so scared to self-tape. And I just don't get that, because you build a muscle for anything you want to get good at. And if you want to get good at something that is very definitely a part of your job, show up for the workout. You can do it for free among friends right over here in our Facebook group. So I hope you will join us for that. Yes, Melissa, totally true. Daniel says, new actor living in Hawaii, loving the self-tape idea. Well, it's the minor markets that really got self-tape popularized, because so much is cast in LA, but shooting elsewhere. And so even TV shows, films, pilots, you name it, there's something usually going to be based in a hub of LA as far as the casting decisions are concerned, especially with the leads and the stars and all of that. But there may be local casting going on in an office in a smaller market or not. And so when the case is or not, those actors in minor markets being willing to self-tape so they can get seen and signed off on by the casting department in LA or New York are the reason that self-tape started to explode, and especially in those smaller markets, because those actors know if I'm going to get seen, I have to self-tape. And so in LA, I'm fascinated by the continued, in 2019, people, the continued aversion to self-tape. And even on this, I know there's going to be people in the comments who are like, but I do my best if I can be in the room and give good room and have that chemistry with the casting director and get the redirect. And I'm like, all of that is fantastic and a wonderful advantage that you can get during the callback once you've learned how to master the self-tape, if that's what it's required to get seen for the first round. And it more and more is going to be. So yes, get good at it, because it is a muscle that as you build it will benefit you. So it's like me telling you to go work out, drink enough water, get enough sleep at night. These are not like, Bonnie, you're evil. Why you tell me to take better care of myself? Because I love you and don't want you to die. And I want your quality of life to be really good while you're here. Same for you as an actor. Anything I'm advising you do is because it's like taking your vitamins, building your muscles, and having a career that's not just that dream you had for a couple years, but instead is that thing you do for a lifetime that you have no regrets about the investment that you put in. Carrie says on Facebook, raising my hand. Yep. Anxious about it. Not tech aware enough. Time to learn. I know enough. Okay. Yes, Carrie, we got you too. We got you. Like if there's a safe place to do the workout, it's with us, because we're not going to be coming at you going, I didn't like this. This didn't work. No, that sucked, blah, blah, which is what the coach in your head may be up to. And you need to tell that coach it needs to do better coaching. But what we're much more likely to do is say, I want you to step a little farther away from that backdrop, or I want you to a little closer back to the backdrop. There's a shadow situation that we need to get fixed here. You need a different light as your key light. You need something a little brighter over here on your left side. It's real technical tweaks like that, or stop looking down so much at your sides. If you go down like this constantly and you're auditioning with the top of your head, we are going to give you feedback on that and say, fix your eye line, put your piece of paper right here. So then you only have to go over to the side a tiny bit. Like we can't even tell that you're doing it compared to this. Like those types of technical notes, wouldn't you want to get those in a free 30-day challenge rather than wondering, why don't I get cast? Why do I never get cast? Why do I never get cast? Why do I never get cast? Because you got these little issues that could have been worked out. So let's come work them out. Let's get everything in the advantage side of the column. Let's get everything working for you. Okay, so we're going to, again, encourage you to do the 30-day self-tape challenge, totally free. And, of course, we go deeper on this in the 100-day challenge. Not that the 30 days are a part of the 100 days, but in our 100-day challenge, Getting Gear for the Next Tier, we have several days that are specifically on equipment and setup and where to get sides and how to play with the material and how to get it in front of your buyers and all the things that can become even more of an advantage for you in your toolkit. And we also get into something that I'm going to touch on when we do tomorrow's broadcast, because I'm live again tomorrow. Did you sign up? I'll put the link up one more time. BonnieGillespie.com/20. Link in bio, Instagram. I want y'all to make sure you're signed up so that you get the alert when we go live. Also, we will be doing the scholarship contest results next week. Oh my gosh, I think you have one more week to enter the scholarship contest, and then we're going to close everything off on Thursday next week so that I have time to watch all the entries. But what we also cover, and we'll start to touch on tomorrow as a part of this free series, is how to turn some of your self-taping skills into the opportunity to self-produce. And if you're like, Bonnie, I barely want to self-tape. You cannot make me self-produce. That's fine. I have clients who hold up gold and shiny Emmy statues because they have produced their own work. And believe me, that Emmy tastes just as good if you win it for creating content as for starring in content. Ain't nothing wrong with having Emmy winner before your name for the rest of your life. So really think it over, because you can get Emmys for short form, self-produced content. So I'm going to be telling you a lot about how to get all that done tomorrow. And of course, even more in our 100-day program. So I'm excited for those of you who are already enrolled and joining us. Thank you. Please make sure that you get digging in on that welcome kit and your pre-day one homework so that you can start strong. We are going to have such a blast together. I'm thrilled with the community that's come together to be a part of our live round. And again, if you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, Gillespie, please go visit this link, BonnieGillespie.com/20. We will be back for more of the free series tomorrow as we continue to celebrate SMF May. All month long, self-management for actors. Your favorite book. If you don't have the book, please get the book. It's really good. And if you like an audiobook, you want to hear me talking to you for 17 and a half hours, go to smfa4.com. I got you covered because you know you want to. All right. Thank you, beautiful people, for joining me. I will continue to come back around to Facebook and answer questions that you dropped in the comments. And until next time, you know the deal. Stay ninja. Mwah. Bye, beautiful people.